will focus on video classification. It's based on the Open Video Digital Library project. The OpenVDL project provides a basis for further development because it produces three kinds of visual surrogates: base collection, storyboard collection, and poster collection. The base collection contains base keyframes extracted from video files based on interframe differences, and the storyboard collection contains storyboards of at most 36 keyframes manually selected from the base collection, and the poster collection contains poster frames manually selected as the most representative keyframe in the storyboard, namely a video will be represented by only a poster. The OpenVDL projector also provides integrated metadata such as title, description, keywords, and etc. The features used in the experiment include visual features and text features. Our goals are not only to study the data representation, but the performance difference among the three collections, namely base collection, storyboard collection, and poster collection. What's more, a simple reality check called subject classification was also made by having the subjects classify the videos into our predefined classes to see the difference between machine automatic classification and the human classification. This is the technique. 6 categories were selected in the experiment, including NASA-CH, lectures, cartoons, black and white, and documentary. The training set contains 150 videos and 50 videos in the test set. In the experiment, videos are represented by the low-level visual features and high-level text features. Color is an important visual feature in image processing. It can in some degree describe the semantic meaning of images, and because it depends little on size, direction, and the other characters of an image, so it's a robust feature. In image processing, there are several color spaces can be used. Because HSV is more close to what people feel about color, so in our experiment, HSV is selected as a color space. Here is the algorithm to get the HSV histogram. And as a result, in 72-dimension HSV color histogram was obtained to serve as a representation of color. Several methods can be used to describe the texture. Among these, pre-level co-occurrence matrix is one of the most frequently used methods. Here is the algorithm to get the GLCM. As a result, an 8-dimension vector for texture feature was obtained, namely the average value and the standard deviation of ASM, ENT, COM, and CR. Two kinds of text were introduced in the experiment: description and keywords. Here we use the term frequency document metric to describe a video file. Here is the pre-processing procedure. In the data mining field, various classifiers have been developed, such as relation tree support vector machine. SVM is a well-known machine learning method and is used as a baseline in TrackBit. And in some other papers, we have found that SVM can get high results than the other classifiers. So, and according to our own experience with pilot testing at last, SPM was chosen for use. We used two measures to evaluate the classification effect. One is overlap coefficient. It's used to evaluate the percent of videos that have been classified with the right classes. Here is the formula. The higher the value is, and the better the effect. The second one is the Collins-Carver coefficient. This table lists the interpretation of Carver values. Though no evidence has applied to support this interpretation, we can still use it for comparison purposes, especially when we use it with overlap coefficient together. In addition to the main trial of automatic classification, we still used the other two techniques to classify the videos for comparison. The first result set is random classification. In this case, we did not make use of any features of videos and assign a video only according to a random class number generated by a program. And the third result set is subject classification. In this case, two people collaborated to classify the test set into our predefined classes. Notice that in this case, the subjects were only shown the images without any text information. This table lists all the cases in the result set to our main trial automatic classification. It contains three parts: visual feature classification, text classification, and the combination of them two. Now let's see the results. Here is the result set by random classification. The table lists the results. And the result set to automatic classification contains three parts. Part one is classification based on visual features. Here, vector used to represent each keyframe is 80 dimension, the union of 72 dimension color and 8 dimension texture. From the figure, we can observe some basic facts. First, visual feature classification can get better results than random classification. And second, use texture only will get the poorest result. And color is much better than texture, and combination of them two can get the best result for visual features. And using multi-keyframe to build the classifiers may get a better result than only using a poster. Clearly, a poster is only an image. It does not have sufficient image to describe a video. Here is the two best results of visual feature classification. Even though base collection has many times of keyframes than the storyboard collection, the results don't have a large difference. Part two is text classification. When doing text classification, top 20 terms were chosen to represent a video file. This table lists the results. We can observe that text classification can get better results than visual feature classification. And the reason may be that text feature is high leverage. It can often describe the semantic meaning and the concepts of video, and the visual features are low-level features. And And between description classification and keywords classification, keywords outperforms much better than description. I think this may be because that description can contain irrelevant terms when the stringent TF-IDF method is used. In the above, we have talked about the classification based on visual and the text features respectively. Now we may wonder if we combine them together, what's the effect will be. And in the visual features, combination of text and color can get the best result, and so do keywords in text. So it's easy for us to think combine the two conditions together. This table is the results. From the table, we can see that combination of visual and text features can get the best result. Both the overlap and context are very high, and the highest among all these cases in the automatic classification. Results set 3 is subject classification. It's very interesting to notice that very often the subjects would imagine the scene that a poster might describe, and then they would classify the videos into a class. They felt similar to the scene they had felt. Here is the results. This page lists all the results we have gotten in the experiment. Look at these tables. We can observe that not surprisingly, random classification has the worst effect on all cases. Even if sometimes the random classification can get good effect, but at most cases it cannot get stable results. And combination of visual and text features can get the best result. This suggests that more evidence does yield better results. In the above, we have talked about the overall classification effects using various methods. Now let's study the classification effect for each single class. From this figure, we can draw some basic conclusions. First, random classification again gets the poorest results. Comparing condition 2, 3, and 7, we can observe that humans can distinguish the classes of cartoons and black and white much better than machine does by only using visual features. And condition 6, once again, namely the combination of visual features and keywords together, once again, gets the best results. And we can also find that the results in this figure are accordance with all the results we have gotten here. Taking condition 6, for example, if it doesn't have almost the best accuracy for almost every single class, it cannot have the best result here. In the future, more visual features are planned to add in, including audio features, and some other mining algorithms might also be used to get the better results. That's all. Thank you. Any question?
Okay, so oh, sorry. Okay, all right. Well, I was wondering how significant is that difference, the one that you showed with the So mainly I'm interested in the use of only textual features and the combination. So it seems that using only text definitely gives you better than using the visual features, and then you have them combined and then you achieve even better. So how significant is that difference? Yeah, so I'm trying to get a sense of how much you're gaining by combining them versus just using the text only.
Between 5 and 6 you're talking about?
Between like keywords and
Your kappa goes from,
Yeah, between 5 and 6, I get. Yeah.
I don't think there was a test of statistical significance there. There's a couple of caveats, if I may. The keywords being better than descriptions is an artifact of the bagged words approach here, using TF-IDF. And so, because in Yishao studies, we've repeatedly seen that the spoken descriptions are much more useful to people, whereas this is really just to the algorithm. So, but there is, we didn't do a statistical analysis of the size of that effect, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah, because then the related question would be, is it, and I wanted to ask about the processing cost for visual features, because if it's expensive, then is it worth it? Because it seems of course there's improvement, but it doesn't seem significant. But I'm sure the processing cost was significantly higher than just doing the keywords.
that was one of my questions too, was that is it worth the extra processing to get that extra 0.03%? So to go from 5 to 6, how much computation does it take?
The computation
To add the visual
To extract the visual features and compare.
Justifies the whole Trek bit operation. I mean, that's all they do. And every year they find that words win. But
Well, actually,
every year they're putting probably millions of dollars into trying to find ways to extract the visual processing. My sense about this is that over and over again we find the same thing, but people like to have the visual elements, and there are some instances in which the visual information, if you will, is really meaningful. People can make judgments about appropriateness to audience, for example, by looking at visual elements as opposed to textual ones. They get other visceral senses that are important.
Plus, if you're talking about cost, to me, it's like the cheap part is getting the visual stuff out, because you can get all that out by machine. The source of those keywords is somebody sitting there and making them up.
Yeah,
That's expensive.
Well,
The free ones are.
Unless we use automatic keyword generation.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Which we know doesn't work as well.
I mean, this even like keywords doing better than description is, I don't know, like in track, a lot of times that's not the case. If you just use, because imagine like keywords as a query and description is a longer query. So usually it is found that the longer the query is, because that's what people do, like 2.5 words on Google. But the longer you give the query, the better you can have a retrieval performance. So that's also sort of slightly, I mean, it's interesting. I don't want to say counterintuitive, but it's
Google queries aren't descriptions.
right. But if
they are
given,
keywords, it's just
I'm talking about track. The title versus description queries. So title queries are nothing but a bunch of keywords, and description queries are like actually sentences. And it is found almost all the time when you use a description part as a query, you achieve better performance, retrieval performance.
But that's on the query side. This is on the document description.
Yeah,
side.
so
As Ben said, she said it's noisy. Those descriptions are noisy.
yeah. So that's kind of thing.
Well, also, I don't think the method of retrieval here is optimized. I mean, you had a small stop word list,
Yes.
and it was really just
And also, I don't
basically a
think
vector
Porter,
space model.
Porter stemmer is the best for this kind of use because you have this in natural language, right? Those like people have provided those key. Yeah, so I think something like Crowett stemmer would be better than Porter because you end up stemming things and then the words don't make sense. Actually, it's but
This
that's
is a very sort of I think sort of simple implementation of the words.
right.
Can I ask you a question about the subject classification? I wasn't sure exactly how that worked. How much time did people spend watching the video?
Oh, they didn't.
Oh,
They didn't watch it at all. They
okay.
And now, was it just on posters?
It was a poster.
printed
Poster. Okay.
printed poster frames,
Okay.
and they had no words.
I was
No
just-
words.
That's
I mean,
pretty high, actually.
oh yeah, people are really smart about doing this stuff. I mean, without any words or any context, they're able to put these in sort of very
No,
accurate hands.
they had the list of 7 categories or whatever.
Yes, they
and
knew.
so they looked at a picture and said, this is number 3, this is number 6.
Yeah.
And then the computer did the same thing,
That's
supposedly, right?
So actually, is
People are
the person faster than the machine? Actually, I think if we just look at the picture, it only takes a few seconds to decide which class.
Well, I
No,
mean,
humans.
you know,
But how long does it take the machine?
yeah, it's like.
But I guess humans are more expensive, so that we don't want to hire some person to say they're.
We can make the machine work at night.
Right.
Very little pay.
And
So-
that collaborative factor can make it longer than just one person looking at.
Yeah, it would be too boring for someone to sit there and make the money. So I have a question. Did you actually compare the combination of condition 4 and 2? The description and the visual? Or
2 and 4 instead of
2
2
and
and
4?
5.
Condition 2 and
Condition
Visual
4.
features plus description rather than visual plus keyword.
2 and 4.
Did you also compare that?
Go back to the graph that had all of the different combinations. That wasn't on there?
No.
Oh, that was only the visual.
She had the graph of these 7. So you picked 2 and 5 became condition number 6. You used
What's your
2 and
feeling
5
on that?
together.
You think
2, yes, 2 and 5.
And so she's
Yeah,
asking-
it would
So she's asking-
it would do
asking-
better than
No.
0.74
Did you use 2
probably.
and 4 together?
I was asking why she didn't do that,
Okay.
because I mean,
Okay.
Because
only because description is worse.
I combine 2 and 5 together, yes.
Right.
Right.
So,
I don't use.
oh, you didn't use 2 and 4.
4.
Okay.
Because this has a better result.
So much better.
Yes.
And why did you use 2 instead of 3? Because 3 requires human selection.
Because I think the difference is not very large.
Oh, so it just didn't.
So I just select one, and I select the lower value can get this result. So if
To make it more
so
robust.
I think this, if I use this, maybe can get that result than this.
So actually for condition 2 and 3, the overlap is higher for condition 3, and the kappa, is also higher.
It's
So,
all right,
okay.
yes.
It's hard to see like how significant is that.
It's an agreement.
It's very.
Agreement.
Yeah. I don't know. Just
It's the agreement.
I mean, how significant? I mean, the differences.
yeah,
half
those
a level, sorry?
those numbers. You know.
But that's classic. I mean, that's why when you read the analyses of inter-rater reliabilities or what have you, there are these ad hoc cutoffs. Well, if it's above 0.7 or if it's above 0.8, you're happy, and otherwise not. I mean, it's
Yeah, it's
I don't
not
think
whether
we
it's
have
right
a
or-
model, a good framework to.
Okay. So that means for 2 and 3 it was moderate agreement. Right.
Lisa,
Right.
Okay.
yes.
Which means they both are almost same then? It just the difference is not significant then.
Well, we don't have any way of
Well,
determining.
You can't use that word. It's not a lot.
Well, if it's used significant, you
about-
just can't say statistically.
Yeah, it's about the same.
They are not exactly the
Significant
same.
in the
You
English.
have to wave your hands
They
when you
look like
say
they
it.
must
There's no way
each
around
other.
it.
Language is still in first eyesight.
The hypothesis that they are exactly the same might not be correct.
Statistical significance itself is decided.
That's why I like numbers and not language, because you can do all that smart things with language. They don't make sense to me.
It's precise, Secretary.
Makes sense.
So one of the things that Fen will do here is kind of push on this. I'm not convinced that trying other machine learning algorithms is a good follow-up. I would I think encourage you to try and get more human judgment kinds of things that in a more systematic way to begin to see what do the visual features really add beyond the words, because I mean ultimately I think a lot of us are convinced that there is something to the visual elements. Explaining what that is and being able to say what that added value is I think a good problem, and I'm not sure that inventing better feature detectors or signal processing kinds of techniques is what this field is really going to make big breakthroughs on. But in being able to explain from the human side what this means is where I would encourage you to continue this work.
For particular defined tasks, right? For
Yeah.
whatever that might be, whether it's discovery or something else.
Is there a general feeling that there's a limit to how far we can go with just the feature detection, even if we were to include audio and visual and all of that together without bringing sort of outside context that a human has to the judgments? I mean, this is sort of a
Well, what's the
general
task,
question.
right? It depends a whole lot on what the
Well,
categories
if it's a
are.
classification.
Is this blue or red? We could probably
Well,
do really well
right,
with
we
that.
could probably do really well with that, but I'm assuming that these were higher level categories than that.
Well, are the two people in this dialogue in love or not, right?
Well,
I
the
doubt that
categories
we will
here
have-
were: did it come from the NASA collection? Did it come from the Chi collection?
Right.
Did it come from cartoons? Did it,
Right, right,
so
yeah.
relatively well defined.
Yeah, the bins are not.
Although pretty tough visually to determine whether it was the NASA video or maybe a Chi video or one of the documentaries. I guess there's overlap.
And you didn't have any black and white cartoons in there?
Yep, those
So-
were easy. Easier for the humans
But
than
those
for the
were two
machines.
separate categories.
Black and white and cartoon. She's saying if it was
Oh,
both.
Were there any black and
Were there
white
any black and
cartoons?
white cartoons?
I don't remember.
I know we have some in open video, I'm just saying. I hope we didn't have a nice training set.
Well,
Yeah.
the cartoons was the
There were some.
negative one on the graph, wasn't it?
Yes. For one of the categories, for one of the methods.
People can distinguish the cartoons much better than machines.
Yeah.
When I did the impairment, I haven't counted all the values. I have felt that people.
Other questions for Fen? We hope you'll stay in touch and keep sending us progress reports. And she'll be around. You leave next Friday, next Thursday.
Next Thursday.
So we'll have a few more days to enjoy your company.
I think I'm very lucky to come here and have this time to learn a lot of things here. So I thank you to give.
And you know, English has gone much better. Like it's much better. So you'll really learn a lot.